Shades of February 14th, oh so many years ago. Shades of Danny Welbeck. A little bit more at stake in that game, and let's hope that the next 2 months aren't shades of what happened after that 2 months. But what a day it would have been to be at the Emirates. And if you are tuning into this and you were at the Emirates, I know a few people who might be tuning in that were there. Please share it with us, because that was a historic Arsenal win. I don't care that the historic Arsenal win is putting us into a position to get fourth, not first. That doesn't matter to me right now. All I know is that this team is on the rise. God, I'm speechless. I'm hoping to really lean on our open micers today for content, because I've spent the last hour and a half running around. I could use the exercise, and I don't really know what more there is to say, but I'm sure that you do. So it's an open mic show. If you want to join in, go to gooneropenmic.com. We're going to have as many people on as we can possibly have. If you want to join in, you'll get on, and probably soon. So we're going to start today with Colin. Man, what a game. Gotta unmute yourself.
Sorry about
that. Dude, this is the Arsenal. Look, I mean, we got a thin squad. We got 14 more cup finals. We got a lot of angst going on around what we did or didn't do in the transfer window. But I mean, was any of that going through your mind in the 95th minute of this game?
It's wonderful, because I do think that for all of the issues that we've had with the Arteta reign over the last couple of years, something that I think we've all been able to respect about him is his not really shirking from his responsibilities and having that sort of the buck stops with me attitude. And, you know, when things are going poorly, he takes the heat. And so I think that in moments like these, I'm just really happy for this team. As far as
Arteta goes, I mean, Sophie always says it best on the Highbury squad. Let your praise be as loud as your criticism. And I really do. You know, I don't want to make this about Mikel Arteta, because it's about Arsenal, but he's a part of that, and the part of it that has this team
part of that.
The part of it that has this team fighting until the 90th minute. If you want to credit the players for that, then you also have to look at the players when they come out and play like they did against Everton earlier this year, and say, you know, maybe the pressure is on them, the fault is on them. I don't love coming out and talking about, you know, well, who gets the blame. I mean, I do as a joke sometimes, but you know, it's just, there's something special going on here. It does feel like it, and it does, and we're not at the point, and we shouldn't convince ourselves that we are at the point where wins become ho-hum, where we are blowing out opponents that are below us in the table 5-0, although we did it once this season against Norwich. We're not at that point yet. Every win against a Premier League team is going to be hard-fought, difficult, and not guaranteed. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're an injury-ravid Leeds. It doesn't matter if you're Burnley. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, West Ham, when everyone was thinking West Ham was great because they just beat Liverpool. It's magnificent to get a win in this league. As we've seen, there's more parity in this season beyond Manchester City, I guess you could say, than I've ever seen before. And that's not because the teams around us are shit. It's because the teams below us are better than they used to be. And so for someone who has nothing to say, I certainly all of a sudden have a lot to say.
Go, baby.
Sometimes you just got to get me going. But you know, again, tactically speaking, I think the game was managed well today. I think the substitutions were bang on, and we can talk about that as you'd like. But the thing that just stands out to me is, with very few exceptions, and they're notable ones, with very few exceptions this season, this team is playing for each other. They're playing for their manager. They talk about it before and after the games, their manager. And, every single thing that the club has done to kind of clean out the deadwood, it's not even deadwood, it's poisoned wood. And maybe they've been a little bit too harsh, but I'd rather have a team that's all, dying for their manager and for each other. And maybe maybe we spun off a player who's going to be good someplace else, but just didn't fit the team protocol, like a Guendouzi or Abba or something like that. I'd rather have this and just build a piece at a time, carefully and deliberately.
Yeah, I mean, those are great points. In regards to the decisions that they've made and how they handled the January window. Alba was dropped from the team. That was before Southampton. And then that run in December just silenced the doubters. And then we had a rough January. We couldn't really click.
That came out of nowhere. Again, be careful about thinking this team has turned the corner, as it were, because every time we think that, you get a sucker punch. Every time you think we're going to go out and beat Manchester United in Manchester, we go and outplay them but lose, and then shit the bed in the next game.
The difference, in my opinion, the difference between then and now is, the inconsistencies were, for the last couple of years, were keeping us in and around 8th. Now it's to the point where it's keeping us in and around top 4. And that's a big difference in quality. When you think about how in the 80th minute of this game, they were showing the live table in the top corner, and it had Wolves at 5th.
They were showing the top 6, and we were not in it.
We were not there. And then 15 minutes later, now we're, sitting pretty with, just nipping right at Manchester United's heels, in a really good position. It's, this team has shown more fight than we've seen in recent seasons. That's in my, that, to me, that just seems insanely obvious. And I think, a big part of that does have to do with the culture. Absolutely. The culture that Arteta is bringing, but also just the players. I think that when you look at some of these summer signings, Martin Odegaard and Ben White and Aaron Ramsdale, these guys have elite mentalities. That performance from Odegaard, I don't know if you saw it, but he just collapsed at full-time whistle. He
literally gave everything.
There are times where I couldn't believe how hard he was still working and tracking back. And it was just, they fought so hard for those 3 points. And it is a sort of fight that I don't remember the last time in recent seasons we've seen a team fight that hard in unity.
I mean, we've seen it in bits and bobs and here and there, and getting up for a game. I mean, we've seen it in FA Cup semifinals against City and that sort of thing. But it's almost like a different kind of fight. It's like, I'm going to play as well as I can. This game, I said at halftime, I said Arteta's got his work cut out for him, because even though this game, we being down 1-0 was a little harsh given the early penalty shout and some of the bad calls in the first half, which every time there was a corner called instead of a goal kick or a throw-in that was the wrong direction that hit us in the first half, we actually got those calls in the second half. So that evened out. But I said this couldn't be more clear. This team cannot let Wolves celebrate on our pitch, because they will do it in a way that will both crush us emotionally and it'll, they obviously want to get us back for what they perceive that we did wrong at their stadium. We cannot let it happen. In a draw, all right, a win was something special. And I don't know what was said at halftime. We'll find out in maybe 6 months on Amazon. Yeah. By the way, I'm really looking forward to this Amazon thing out of nowhere.
I'd be curious to know if anyone asked Arteta in his post match. That seems like, I don't know.
His answer
that would be a question that I would ask if I was a journalist in that case.
His answer is going to be, I'm not going to say, but my team was together, something like that. But I mean,
some PR.
I actually heard from a very reliable source that before the Tottenham game earlier this year, when Granit Xhaka was making his return to the lineup, everybody was freaking out about that. That the pregame team talk was given by none other than Stuart McFarlane, the long time photographer for the team.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
Who knows more about the meaning of the North London Derby than any of our from longevity than any of our players could possibly know. And so I just, I want to know who's motivating this team. I obviously think it's a large part of Arteta, and what was said at halftime to that game may have taken a little while to click in, but I mean, this team couldn't lose that game. It just didn't matter what they were going to do. You just cannot lose this game. And they didn't sit back after equalizing either. They went ahead and said, you know what, if we can't win this game, we're going to go out on our sword trying.
I mean, to me, that moment almost encapsulates the feeling that I get from this team of watching Pepe come on. How many times has this man been looked over or passed up? If he's on the bench, Eddie Nketiah is on first. This guy's got plenty of reason to just kind of get to that point where he's mentally done. He just realizes it's not going to work for me at this club. This is not going well. The amount of hate he gets for being the flop and the price tag attached to him. And just that moment of him, the gorgeous spin that he did, a lovely, easy finish, simple finish, and then just right to the ball, pick it up, and let's go back to the center and go again. Let's get this winner. And that it's just that mentality to get from, someone like Odegaard or Kieran Tierney is something that you would absolutely, but to see that in Nico Pepe, of all people, like, Arteta was right when he said that, he came back a different player after AFCON. You can see it, man.
And even if he was just saying that as a carrot to kind of chase after, well done. It's good, Colin. We're gonna move on. But who's your man of the match? I mean, I'm going with Nketiah. And that's not even like that much of a joke. I mean, he only played 15 minutes, but my God, he actually did really, really look good today. But for the whole game, I mean, there's a couple you could choose from. Who's your choice?
I feel like every time we put in a good performance, there's two guys that I just am always stuck between, and that's Thomas Partey and Martin Odegaard.
Really?
Every time we have a good performance, it feels like it's because those two guys did their job.
It's almost like the engine of the team is going, and so, when we suffer, the midfield is what we often point to. When we thrive, it should be as well.
Yeah. So today I got to go for Martin Odegaard. I love the guy. I know it's like when we're in the final third, Martin Odegaard is in charge. That's how it feels. Anytime we're in the final third, which is increasingly more and more often, if you've started to notice, we play just that almost Manchester City. You can tell like that, just playing in the final third, win the ball back, and then just keep it in the final third. We're definitely doing that more and more, but he's in charge when we're in the final third. And
you're in good company. Dempsek agrees with you, Olivier. Sorry, I thought this said no man of the match for me, and I was like, geez, you're in a bad mood. Mark McCrighton, man of the match as well. Ryan Youngblood up in Detroit, Ode, man of the match. Rob Ford agreeing with you. So
I would not be upset if that guy got the armband next season. I know it'll probably be Tierney, which is totally fine with me. But
look, man, we're spoiled for choice. I mean, we got 9. All of a sudden, we got 9 captains on our team that can take over. But yeah, Colin, tell us where we can find you other than by Twitter, where we can see at the Daily Bop.
That's about it. That's the Twitter handle. Just Big fan. Great to see
That's
you,
his
Mike.
name.
Thanks
Don't
for
wear
having
it
me.
out. All right, buddy.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining. Hope we'll see you again.
Good to see you, Doug.
All right, man. Okay, one of the reasons we started this a little late is because I was downloading and trying to get shaped up some stuff. I was trying to edit it, and ultimately I didn't end up editing, but I just wanted to get them on here. So I apologize for the smallness of some of these, but just because I couldn't be at the Emirates today, I just wanted to experience it. So here we go. By the way, my son came home today from training, from football training, soccer training. Sorry, I have to call it that because the parents on the team, if I start calling it football, they're going to look at me like I'm some sort of asshole. But came home from football training, and of course we shared one of those fantastic hugs of happiness, and the two of us are going to be at the Emirates for the Brighton game, and we're going to be at Crystal Palace for the 5-year anniversary, almost to the day of the Monday Night Massacre, where we saw some very disturbing things from Arsenal and from the Arsenal away fans, which I'll probably play a little bit later, but I don't want to dwell on the negative. But 5 years later, another Monday night opportunity to right those wrongs. And I've never looked forward to a trip from an Arsenal standpoint more than I have. I always look forward to the trip and to the fun and to meeting other people and seeing old friends and new friends. But I mean, we're in a proper fourth place battle, which we haven't seen for a long, long time. And I'm loving the way things are going. So with my luck, our March will be complete shit. We'll be down in 9th place by the time I get there and all that. But I'm going to go with it's going to be fun. So Aston, thanks for joining. It's been a while. I haven't seen you on the post game, but I love Happy Aston. So let's have it.
Everybody likes a happy ass. Am I right? That Colin brother, he knows a thing or two about football. I tell you what.
I know for a Yank, he's not bad. You know.
So getting into this game, I want to say one thing. We are finally moving past Wenger, and let me explain why. Right? After Wenger went invincible, for the longest time, you always hear about how in the Invincibles, they were always so competitive with each other. They knew that the best game of the week was actually going to be in training against themselves. So for a while, post-Invincibles, a lot of our players got a little bit of shine that may or may not have been deserved. I'm talking about like the Theo Walcotts, even our midfield being as great as it was, like, we for a long time were respected on the pitch, and sometimes it was taken for granted if we were the best or not. That competitive edge was gone, right? Sometimes, how many times did we watch games where our players didn't fight to win? We were the better team, and we didn't just put the knife in. We didn't, and you watched Theo Walcott or Ramsey or any of them walk off the field. Oh, well, we lost the game. That sucks. That was really unfortunate. I think we controlled the game, but
went there with
that's
Ramsey.
football. Wow. Yeah, listen, I love Ramsey to death, but he's a wet blanket, brother. And I listen, he's my favorite player, and I can admit this about him. But this is the truth. But now what I love about the recruitment is we got rid of all this dead wood, and every player on the pitch wants to prove that they're the best. They don't want to just be called they're the best. They don't want us to go, oh, well, this and that circumstance got in the way of us winning, but we should have won because our players are so good. They want us to know that they are the best on the mother effing pitch, okay? Gabriel and White do not like conceding. They do not. You can see it on their faces. They hate conceding. Gabriel, the fact that he made that error in the beginning and then turned into a monster in the second half, that tells you who's what we're thinking. I saw Odegaard. I cannot tell you, that guy, when we're not playing well, that guy does everything. He does everything. Everything you would want a player to. Takes the ball in our defensive half. Is always finding space in the other half. Even if the ball's not on his side of the pitch, you can see him moving and moving all around. It's amazing to see, and that's the sort of spirit that I think connects us back to our players. Like, I love our team again. I keep saying this. I love our team. I love our team. I love our team. And Laka, after every play, after every ball went out at the wrong angle, after every shot, after everything that happened in the final third, he turned to the fans and he said, "Get us up, lads. We need you. Get us up."
Saw it from him. You see it from Martinelli again tonight. You've seen that before. You know, the famous saying is, you know, I love you, but I don't like you right now. Like my mother would say that to me when I was being a dick. I deserved it. You know,
I say that to myself in the mirror every day.
the love shouldn't go away. I mean, it you know, like a family member. I love this club like my family, but there are times where I just don't recognize them, don't like them, don't want to think about them. I've had a lot of sad naps over the last few years where I woke up early for a game, and as soon as the game was over, I didn't watch any post game, didn't watch any of the pods. I just went to bed.
That's for sure.
To escape. And I like this team. I really like this team. I like this team almost as much as our chat likes your red light. We're hearing Roxanne, Rox Aston. You don't have to put out the red light.
Listen, I can control the color, and today my world is red.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it ain't just North London that's red. It's Orlando as well.
I wanted to
give your exact home address out, which probably would have been we as a chat before you go on to the next point, as a way to shout out to the chat, because almost everyone in the chat has pointed out the red light. We got basically my entire, other than Owen, my entire colleagues of the Gooners pod all said they couldn't do the podcast, and they're all in the chat. We got Andy in here with the sex light. We got Demsek pointing out the red light. I know Jared's been in here. Mike Hers is apparently on break. No one wanted to join me on this happy occasion, but they're all in the chat.
FYI, I have the sex light because I'm sexy. It works. It works.
I always thought well, okay, I'm not going to go there.
It's the red light district in this house. Listen.
Yeah, I bought a sex light once, and no one came to fuck me. I mean,
Mike puts the bat signal. It's like a giant dong spotlight into the sky, just signaling out into the night, hoping that somebody comes along.
I bought the sex light, and for the next few weeks I couldn't walk properly. I didn't read the instructions. I thought it provided me with
shake before using. What?
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to provide the sex, not the ambiance for the sex. But anyway,
I did want to comment tactically, right? I always slag off Granite. Well, let's talk about, first of all, huge props to Mikel Arteta. I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people probably didn't realize. The Wolves came tactically on point today. He actually learned from his last game. And if you actually notice in the first half, what they did very effectively was smuggle our first stage pass, right? So Partey had 4 players around him at all times, and then they actually stopped the ball out to both Tierney and Cedric. That's why we were holding on to the ball so much, and it was very difficult. Props to Arteta for saying, hey, listen, Odegaard, Xhaka, stop, hugging the line, come in a little further inside. And we went on from there, and actually being able to play in very small spaces. Like, Wolves give no inches, and yet Saka just kept popping up in all these little spaces. And you're like, that's a really, he's not going to get a lot of credit because he didn't get on the score sheet, but the man worked that defense. And I just love that boy more and more every day. Is that possible?
I don't know how it's possible to love him more. I mean, yeah. I mean, you got to have a kid, and then you realize, okay, there's a limit to how much I can love someone who isn't actually part of my family. But yeah, the guy, and if anything, and Andy and I talked about it in the chat today. I think we were both on the same wavelength for once. He was waiting just a beat too long when he was, when he's making his runs, when he's pulling the trigger. You just saw a lot of shots where, maybe he didn't have the angle with the goalie, but you never really know until you try. Sometimes you can go 5-hole, you can get a lucky bounce, and he was just waiting that beat too long. I wouldn't say this was anywhere close to the best game he's played, but it didn't need to be, because he got picked up by his teammates big time.
Well, first of all, let's kudos to Saka working extra on the training pitch. That right foot of his, even like in the first 30 seconds, these passes he's getting into Lacazette, he did it in the last game too. In between the lines are actually really crucial, and he's doing that on the right foot. So huge shout out to him. You know what I say about our team and Saka's performance too, and it's our whole team did this too. If you ever watch a really good fight movie, or like if you're into anime, like one of those anime shonens or something, they do the thing in the fight where the main character is losing the fight in the beginning, right? He gets hit, he gets knocked down, he gets put down, and then somebody whispers in his ear and he just comes back stronger. That's what it seemed like this game. After every hit we took, we'd come back quicker, faster. We'd exploit the spaces a little more economically, be a little more fast. I remember Lacazette was holding up the ball in the center circle in the first half. By the end of the 90, he was holding up the ball on their penalty spot. So it's the fact that our players have this willingness to just drive forward, to assert our dominance, and to remind everybody that fuck it, guys, we're Arsenal. We're one of the biggest clubs in England, in case you forgot, and we're here to stay.
Yeah, and look, even if we don't get the results that we're getting, that we want to get from Liverpool and City and Chelsea this season, even if we don't get them, we are getting the results against the teams that we need to beat to get to assure top four. Last season, actually, I'm going to do this in between because we got some people waiting and we want to make sure to get to them. I have this habit where I want to just talk to people for way too long, and when we're doing these shows, I got to keep it moving. So, Aston and the red light that was heard around the world.
Man of the match.
Man of the match.
Odegaard, all the way. My captain. I hope he's our captain in the future. You're showing me something. It's like Thierry Henry said. He just has time. He just has an extra second.
He does, and it's like I'll make a Tannor analogy here because he's in the room waiting. It's like a professional football quarterback where you come out of college and the game's moving so fast, and then you kind of get used to it and you get good, and the game just slows down around you. And guess what? The game hasn't slowed down, but you are seeing it much better, and that's kind of what you're seeing from Odegaard right now. So, all right, Aston, take care, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Cheers.
All right, we got to talk about Lacazette here. We got to talk about the effort. I mean, he was throwing some shots that were just, I mean, you just don't feel like he's an effective striker anymore when, with some of the shooting opportunities or the missed opportunities he had in front of goal. But you cannot fault the guy's effort. You cannot fault the guy's hard work. You can't fault how he makes people better around him. And you definitely can't fault the fact that he played a full 96 minutes this time. No worries about who he was going to give the armband to. Another celebration that we have here that I want to show before we bring in Scott. All right. Scott, that guy was actually celebrating your appearance on the open mic show for the first time in a while.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too. Now, Scott, you the closest thing we have, I think, in our green room to anyone that was at the game was is you, who was at the pub. And I've been to the Globe. I've seen you there. I know it's a good time. It's a great crowd, and today had to be something else.
It really was. There were about 35, 40 people there today, which is good for a midweek match. And, look, I'm a comparative Arsenal newcomer compared to you guys. I've only been on this thing for like a decade now. And in my decade or so following Arsenal, I think the only other match I can come up with that compares to today was Welbeck against Leicester, in terms of the absolute pandemonium at the pub when each of those two goals went in. And these are the kind of moments that only this sport can give you. Those kind of cathartic moments. And I mean, like just strangers hugging each other, beer flying in the air. it was just remarkable. And I mean, like I said, of my decade or so following Arsenal, this has got to be one of the 3 or 4 just most incredible wins I've experienced.
Yeah, I mean it isn't an FA Cup final. It's not something that gets us into the. I mean, we've had some good last minute wins over the years, but I started off the show comparing this to the Leicester game, just in the sense of the. I mean, and I think that was a 2-1 that we came back from 1-0 down as well, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
It was just kind of an unexpected, don't count us out type of game. And, again, I can only hope that what follows this game is not the same as what followed that game.
Yeah, a total collapse, right.
That was literally the high of the season, and then the team just started gifting other teams wins like Swansea and stuff. But last season, I'm looking at our losses. Leicester City, Aston Villa 3-0, Wolves twice 2-1, Burnley 1-0, Everton 2-1, Wolves again 2-1, Villa again 1-0, Everton again 1-0. I mean, so Everton, Villa, Wolves all did the double against us last season, and then some. And look, the game against Everton is the low point of the season for me. I mean, none of those.
But the great thing is like that Everton match right now is kind of a one-off. This team's effort has been pretty consistent this year. If you look at the comparative fixtures, the same clubs home and away this year compared to last year, we're right now 7 points ahead of last year. I go back to something Arteta said right after the window closed in September, when he said, "I have my team now." And when we've had the team on the pitch, their performance has been fairly consistent. And one stat that just keeps jumping out at me right now is that we've taken 30 of the last 33 points when Xhaka and Partey start together. And the one we didn't get was the City match on New Year's Day when we actually outplayed them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue too much against that. I mean, again, think what you want about whether Partey's playing as well as he could, and oh my God, what a move! I had an orgasm when he did that move in the first half. Just a little cheeky, kind of almost backheeled it to himself. I don't know how to describe it, but
he was brilliant today. Partey was terrific today.
But the results with the two of them in there are almost unquestionable. I'll agree.
And one of the things that really jumped out at me today, when Pepe scored the equalizer, and the first thing I said to everybody around me at the pub is like, "Oh my God, get Rob Holding in there right now. Let's protect this point." Oh. And then about a minute and a half later into the match, I said, "Holy shit, Wolves are shithousing now. They don't think they can hold us off for another 15 minutes." Because even though they got that early goal, and they're an incredibly difficult team to break down, I mean, they gave up 18 goals all season coming into today, and yet we kept coming at them for 90 minutes. And once we equalized, they actually knew they were in big trouble. And I kind of misread that, right? I was like, "Oh my God, this is great. Give me the point." And Wolves were like, "We need to protect anything we can here." And
yeah, but they had not. The stat was something like when they were winning at halftime, they hadn't lost a game in 35 straight or something like that.
Yeah,
if I'm getting that wrong, they hadn't lost or they hadn't even dropped points. I don't know which one it was, but but that shit's over.
But I mean, just to me, like that recognition on Wolves' part that they didn't even think they could hold us off for 15 minutes without shithousing. That it didn't even occur to them when it was 1-1 that they might still win the game. They were right into, we need to protect the point we have. And, one of the things I connect that to is that there's really very few things more fun as a sports fan than when your team, your young team, is just starting to realize they're good. And that's kind of the stage that this Arsenal group is at right now. Like, today wasn't even Martinelli's best day, yet there were, and nor was it Saka's, in fact, even though his really good shot set up the winning goal. But those two keep coming in a way that, like, okay, we know we can play with anybody. And there's a presence about them that wasn't there last year. We would see these flashes of brilliant talent, but there's a composed presence to those two and to Smith Rowe now. And I think also a lot of that comes with the fact that something that Arteta did and Edu that was criticized by many, which is that they fixed the back first. They gave that platform. Right now, our midfielders and our attackers, where in the first year or so Arteta was on the job, everything we did was premised around the fact that we didn't trust what was behind them, that our attackers and our midfielders had to be concerned with what was behind them. Now they feel free to push forward because they trust that White and Gabriel and Tierney and Tomiyasu, or again, Cedric for his third straight solid outing, are going to take care of what's behind them. And that has really freed up the attack.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to build the team in the way that is going to stop the bleeding. And our bleeding was coming from poor mistakes in the back, and it almost made our attack irrelevant. You're not going to succeed winning games 3-2 and conceding goals and having to constantly come back in games. Although I know we did it today, it's not really a winning strategy. And so fixing the back, even if it was initially at the expense of our attack, I think is the way to build a foundation, and we've got that now. So, Scott, you're man of the match. Are you going to make it 3 of 3 for Odegaard?
You know what? I'm going to go a slightly different way here. I'm actually going to say Ben White.
Okay, I've heard that.
And one thing I've been observing with White for most of the year is that about 1 to 3 times a match, he's going to get a ball recovery pretty high up the pitch, almost where a midfielder would normally be, because he knows he has the recovery to bomb back like a fullback. And I think the amount of ground that guy is able to cover frees up the attack, gives them numbers in the attack more than is often appreciated. And the fact that he is solid in back and is able to, that he's solid back and is able to contribute to the attack. I think it's underplayed. There wasn't anything brilliant he did today, but there's a solidity that his presence gives us. And I mean, look, there were so many candidates for today, not just Odegaard. I thought Partey was brilliant today. While it wouldn't be man of the match, I thought this is a big day for Eddie Nketiah, because I think in his last outing for us, he looked completely disinterested, like a guy.
He had a great impact on the game in his 20 minutes. I mean, he came on in the 75th
He had
minute.
one incredible turn in the middle of the pitch where we all thought it was Partey, because that's what Partey does around there. And then we're like, wait, that was Nketiah who did that? And then,
by the way, I'm keeping this comment up here because it's moving your name away so that we can actually see your face. Because before we couldn't, but there we go. So, all right, we are going to move on to Tannor, but yeah, Ben White. The thing about Ben White today is that it was his turn, and this isn't an original thought of mine, but I mean, Gabriel, at least in the first half, especially, did not have a strong game, and Ben White picked him up. I mean, you can't pick him up and prevent the goal that Gabriel essentially conceded, but he certainly picked him up and said, "We're not going to give up a second one." And then Gabriel gradually grew back into the game. And I don't know if, there's no way to know exactly what would have happened, but that shot, and I don't remember who the one was that shot it, but it went wide and it was called a goal kick. It should have been a corner kick, because I'm pretty sure Gabriel deflected it just enough.
Oh, he did. He saved the goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was going in. Whether Ramsdale would have had it covered or not, we'll never know. But that was headed towards, that was on goal. Yeah, and it went wide because of a touch that the ref didn't end up seeing, thankfully. But so Gabriel kind of comes up big in the end, and things bounced the right way today. That's what we can say. So, Scott, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, buddy.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Definitely.
All right. Tannor, how you feeling? And I don't
Whoa. You just stole my thunder, man.
I don't What? Why? I
Well,
was just going to
the first thing I was going to say was, how do we feel?
I wasn't even talking about Arsenal. I was talking about you being up at 5 a.m., off your ass texting people.
Oh, I was loaded last night, wasn't I?
I'm like,
Yikes.
I hope he wakes up for the game.
It was a little bit of a struggle, not gonna lie. Was I really messaging people last night at 5 a.m.?
I didn't make that up. Look in the I guess it's now called uncensored.
I'm looking at it right now. I gotta find it because I don't see anything. Oh, there it is. No.
Oh,
there it is. Yeah, now I found it. All right. Oh, anyway, in the words of New England Patriots special teams captain Matthew Slater, how do we feel about gaining points from a losing position?
I can actually literally tell you how I feel, and
I don't have the words, man. Like I don't know how to wrap my brain around this. I terrified the dogs.
There's nothing better than Arsenal podcasts where both of the podcasters don't know what to say.
I'm like,
should we just go like this?
I'll tell you what, and you're a hockey guy. You can appreciate this. Sometimes
unless it's about Sidney Crosby, then I can't appreciate it.
Well, I mean, best player of your generation. No, that's not true. Mario Lemieux's best player of your generation. You just sometimes you see a game, you watch a game, and you just think it's just not going to happen. We're creating chances, we're getting the opportunities, we're playing well. Bad giveaway from Gabriel in the first half that led to the goal, to their goal, and it just like. We just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. We got over that initial 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the beginning of the game. And then we were on the front foot, but it just didn't seem like it was going to come good for us. And
I'm going to disagree with you on that because and I don't know if this says a lot. I think it does say a lot about where we are as a team right now, but I've felt like that in games before, and early in games. 45th or not 45th, 50th, 55th minute where I'm like, and we'll be down by a goal, and I'm like, I just don't see it coming.
No. It's not that I didn't see it coming as much as it is like bad luck. Like Lacazette, we get a chance inside the box, and somebody gets right in front of the ball, and they block it. It's like just keep pushing. It's gonna come. But my thought was, we're gonna keep pushing at this. But are the footy gods against us today? And it's just not going to get in the back of the net. But I was fully expecting us to score a goal. Just the way that we were playing, it's like it's coming. Are we going to run out of time before it does? That's where my head was at. But sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's such thin margins too, because had we lost that game, but played the way that we did. It would have been very, very difficult to have anything positive to say about it because of, oh my God, that's another missed opportunity.
Right.
It's a huge 3 points. Yeah, we played well, but it's not even like the Man City game where it's like, man, we outplayed Man City. We just got lucky or unlucky. Yet it's those balls just getting by the Sa, who, by the way, is it just me, or did they steal David De Gea for a day?
I was like, yeah.
From a looks perspective,
right. That's exactly. I thought that myself in the 2 weeks ago when we played him. I'm like,
God, that guy. Those guys are just
son of David De Gea,
doppelganger.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, he looks more like David De Gea than I look like Danny the GFP, and that's saying something.
He looks more like David De Gea than David De Gea looks like David De Gea.
That's true. But yeah, it does help that we scored the 2 goals because the performance just couldn't have been really objectively looked at if we dropped points where we should have won.
Had we lost, let's face it, we all know what the narrative would have been had we lost this match. And the fact is, Mikel Arteta didn't miss the chances. Mikel Arteta didn't kick the ball into a defender's leg and allow the shot to get blocked. we played well enough to win, and it's how do I say this? The result was deserved today.
Yeah.
And on that note, from a Wolves perspective, the result was deserved on their end as well. What they losing the 3 points, dropping 3 points like that, that's on them, and they deserve to drop the points.
I know we're not supposed to like equate ourselves and get. I mean, it's up to us to pick fights and to try to play against the Chelsea and Cities and Liverpools and Uniteds, and not say, oh, the Wolves are our rivals and we're legitimizing them by having this big, kind of out of nowhere hockey fight attitude about them. But I don't care. I mean, those guys thought that they were going to drag us down to their level, and they got owned. Ultimately, in the end, they got owned. They thought they were going to come here and go over the top celebrating like they won the World Cup just because they wanted to rub it in our faces, and we didn't let them.
Right.
And it wouldn't surprise me now if they, if they start to kind of find their way down the table into their appropriate 8th or 9th position rather than being 5th as they would have been if they had held on.
The thing for me is we've had moments like this season where we have a good win, a feel good moment like we had today. We have to build on this.
Yeah.
Right. It almost kind of sucks that we're not playing this weekend, because it's like, and it just seems like every time we get a game like this where it's galvanized.
Well, we would have been playing Liverpool if we
right.
But
okay. But who knows what happens on the back of a performance like that.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it would have been a good test of where we stood.
It feels like a galvanizing moment, and you just have to keep moving forward with this. And it's like, yeah, man, how did that feel? How did it feel to do this? Let's go get it again. Let's not go down 1-0 and trail the game for 80 minutes. And
that's what this team is doing. I mean, this team is gaining collective experiences together that form the things you call on emotionally and physically in the 75th minute of a tough battle 3 months from that. Well, 3 months from now, they'll be watching the FA Cup, but those are the things you pull from. If you don't have anything to pull from, it's like a rudderless ship. Like, what do we do in this situation?
How do we overcome this?
They're accumulating experiences that you can only accumulate from being through them. Right. You can't fabricate them. A coach can't tell you that they, how to react in a situation. You have to have been there before, which is why you see veterans in almost every sport, grizzled people, not the ones that are past it and don't care anymore, but the ones who have been through it before. You see it, average players play better in the hockey playoffs if they've been there 5 times before. NFL players, and it's the same with footballers. You have to have these experiences, and
it is exactly the reason why, without being stupid about it, Arsenal need to re-sign Alex Lacazette. He is that guy. He is that guy to this club, and there will be a hole in this team if he does not sign a new contract, if he's not back here next year. Go ahead.
I think you've just I'm going to do a transition here, or before I get rid of you, I'm going to bring on our next person, because I think you've just triggered them in a very positive way, I think. So Tannor, we're going to bring on Daniel. I could see the little thumbnails of people back there, and when you said that, Daniel just about lost his shit. So unmute yourself and tell us what that reaction was about.
Yes. Yes. I do not get the hate that Lacazette gets, because his work rate is top notch. Like he worked his ass off tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like Jared. It's like Jared said, who couldn't be here tonight, but he's here. It's going to draw some disagreements, and we're already seeing it. No way. I think this means no way, comma, his time is up. I'm pretty sure that's what it means.
No,
but
no, not at all.
The thing is, okay, with Lacazette, and this is what people. I think I don't want to call them the Lacazette out crowd. I get
No,
the
let's not
sentiment.
make it that.
No. And I get the sentiment. BX Gunner, no way his time is up. Aston, no hate for Lacazette, but sorry, not enough. I get where their mindset is, and it's not wrong. It is appropriate, I think. But look at the way that this team is designed to score its goals. The goals, it's not about having a 30-goal a season scorer. The hate for Lacazette comes from not scoring goals.
I don't
That's
think
where the hate comes from.
and I don't think it. And I know the way that you're using the word hate. I just want to clarify. I think even the people who want him gone are like, respectively. We don't want to be want to be the person who is employing him when his career is truly and well over. It's
Right.
like, do you sell a stock that's going down, when it's going down or when it's at the bottom?
In this business, okay, you have to come to the realization that, and we've done it far too many times in the past with allowing players to run their contracts down. Lacazette, Nketiah, but sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes which is the better option? Having Lacazette here for another 2 years and letting his contract just expire in 2 years and letting him ride off into the sunset, or not having him here, not having that veteran presence to fall back on in crunch time like this, having the Lacazette to come off the bench next year. Go get the young striker. Absolutely, go get 2.
Yeah.
But give Lacazette a 2-year deal. Give him a slight bump in pay. Give him a 2-year deal. Let him run it down. That's like, sometimes it's just going to happen. And it's
well, if you give him a 2-year deal, he's leaving on a free after 2 years. And again, that's not. You go into it knowing that. All right, Tannor, man of the match.
And 2 years is like fair enough.
I think
Daniel, we're gonna stick with you, but we're gonna move on from Tannor.
And Tannor can finally put a face to a name, because I'm a regular in the same old.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Gotcha.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic.
I hope that comes back soon, because I do miss staying up until 5 UK time.
Listen, man, it's real easy. Just do what I did last night. Drink a lot of beer and about 4 shots of Jaeger, and you'll be up till 5. Trust me.
All right, mate. Well, you take care of yourself, all right?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. Man of the match, real quick, is man. It's tough. I mean, I was on the Lacazette thing, but I wanted to give him man of the match. He just needed to score another goal for me. The work rate was there, but I think I'm going to go with Ben White.
All right,
I'm going to follow Scott's example. I'm going to go with Ben White. He settled things down at the back. Gabriel was not having a good start to the match, and he just reel it back in a little bit, take a deep breath, calm down. It's tough, man, because I think a lot of guys played well today. I think how many subs did we make? 2. So all 13 players today, I think, busted their asses. They really did. Everybody put in a shift today. Pepe comes on, Nketiah and Eddie. Shout out to Eddie. I'm going to give him honorable mention, because when he first came on, I was like, great, here we go. He's going to bring absolutely nothing to this. And he assists on Pepe's goal.
I saw that as well.
And,
he ran his ass off.
He really did. He was making things happen. Again, don't look at just the end product. And I'm going to let you guys go on this note. But when it comes to Lacazette or even Eddie today, don't always just look at the score sheet. Did he get on the score sheet? Look at the whole thing in context.
Yeah.
Look at the whole thing in context. Gents, thank you very much.
Take care, my man.
Appreciate it, guys.
Later.
Yeah.
All right, so let's drill down a little bit more on the Lacazette thing. So let's say, for example, Daniel, that he says, okay, I'll stay here. I'll sign another 2-year contract, but I want to keep making my $200,000 a week, and I want to start. Then do you keep him?
Because
I think it would be more important. I mean, I love the guy. I love his contribution to the team. I think he's on the decline, but amazing leadership and a fantastic effort constantly from the guy. But I think he wants to play, even if he's playing at a slightly lower level.
Yeah,
I think he wants to play as opposed to just be kind of a figure.
And to be fair, based on what he's done over the course of last 2 years, in the last 2 seasons, I would. Yes, he may not get 20, 25 goals a season, but what he does is that he brings that cohesiveness with Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Smith Rowe. If we could, it would be a bite the bullet situation. Yes, I would have him for 2 more years because that relationship that he has with those 4 or 5 does work really well, and it would be such a shame to strip that away straight away, because I do want us to bring someone in and maybe start reducing. Well, we can't really reduce when you sign £200,000 contract.
Yeah, I don't think his wage is going to go in reverse. Not with us anyway. The thing for me, and I'm on the boat of I think it's time to move on. And I'm happy that I share that opinion with.
And that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing, and again, that's why other than just absolute trolls and assholes, I don't think anyone's like. I mean, yeah, you could be upset with his lack of end product this season, but you still respect him. You still, in almost every case, the people that would like him gone.
And like what Tannor says, look at the bigger picture. He may not get 20, 25, 30 goals a season, but look at what he does, with that little group, and to break that up. When his contract when his contract ends, that would be. I just don't want him to leave just yet.
Yeah, I think that these next 3 months, and let's again talk about how he kind of is the papa to our young guns. I mean, I have that impression. I think a lot of other people share that. By the way, Kevin, it's great to have you in the chat. Another fantastic post-game show over at Highbury Squad, and Laka will leave, and rightly so, because we need to move on. I was among those who said over the summer, Tammy Abraham was the kind of player that I thought just wasn't getting chances at Chelsea and would be fantastic here. He's a Lacazette, but 7 years younger, or whatever the number is. And that didn't have to do with leadership. I'm sure Tammy Abraham is a solid player, but he's not Alexandre Lacazette when it comes to leadership. My hope is that in the last 3 months of this season, he can complete his tutelage of these young guns to where they don't need him to physically be here to have what Lacazette gave them in their lockers.
I would love to have him at the club, still mentoring them.
Yeah, and would I have him go directly to the coaching squad if he was ready to hang up his boots? 1,000%. But the guy is going to want to play. He's not done yet, but we need to move on. We need to reload. We need to get out of the habit of hanging on just a little too long, because we've seen that happen before, and we've just now got out from under that. So I would rather make the error, and I'm all about leadership and mentality and intangibles. and not so much about tactics.
Yeah.
But in this case,
And-
I'll go against that. And I think we need to show that we can reload and reset
Yeah.
before it's too late.
Yeah. Like for me, what a game tonight. Like, what a game. For me, man of the match, part of me like does want to say like Lacazette for never giving up. Like, he kept going, and he finally got there.
You can say Laka if you want. I mean, it's a hard choice tonight.
But that there's also Pepe, because when he came on, he changed. He changed the game, almost instantly.
I don't think there should be this rule against picking a substitute as your man of the match. Even someone that comes in 20 or 25 minutes left. If you feel that the game was won because of that player, or because of that player's
I
effort,
feel I'm gonna break the rules and have two, Pepe and Lacazette.
Perfect. You got it.
All
right.
Perfect.
Yep, and it's 3 points. We move on. We've got, who do we have?
3 points.
Who do we have in 10 days? It's it's Watford. I believe, and another team that we like to put down where they belong. So Daniel, thanks for joining again.
Building and building.
Yep, absolutely. It's gonna be an interesting rest of the season, and I can't wait to get over there, man. I hope things are still buzzing. I'm back again in April, and just I'm salivating over it. So Daniel, thanks for joining us. Any Twitter handle or anything else you want to plug before you go?
You can follow me at DanShaw148S, but yeah, it's all right.
I highly recommend doing that. All right, buddy, take care.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Now we're going to move on to the DC area. My mate, my boy, Robbie.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Are we happy today?
Yeah, pretty happy today. I gotta tell you, it's been a wild day, like swimming a lot of emotion, but definitely needed this victory, this type of victory to make things decent and stuff like that. So I was thrilled. I was thrilled with the result. I mean, I think I probably picked up a noise complaint or two celebrating that.
There's no better reason to get kicked out of your home by the police than because Arsenal have won a game in injury time. I mean, I've always said that. So
I think it'll just be a chiding, but
So let's start in reverse. Who was your man of the match today?
It's funny. Daniel brought up one of them anyway. I think Pepe, because he did change the complexion of the match when he came in there. I mean, I thought he a lot of people have brought up Wolves are trying to get through the defense like getting through steel. They took up a lot of tight spaces, and I think Pepe was just the extra bit of spice that we needed to get us through some of those spaces. Because I mean, guys were working throughout the match, but I think Pepe definitely to again the point about Arteta talking about Pepe coming back a different man from AFCON. Yeah. I mean, just the way he got into spaces and moved the ball, it seemed a little bit less tentative than he had been up to that point. So I think I got to go with Pepe.
He's such a confidence player, and for a long time at Arsenal, he just wasn't between himself and his role on the team. I don't think he had that confidence, and for whether it was AFCON or something in training or a combination of the two, for him to come back with this kind of attitude. I mean, he will get minutes, and he's forcing his way back in there. We didn't even have available to us ESR. Now, maybe if ESR is available tonight, we don't see Pepe in the game at all. And who knows? Perhaps. I mean, this is why it's so important at that position to have depth and to be able to count on these guys. We don't have depth in many places, but players who can play the wing and put in a good shift and not deprove us, the opposite of improve us, not worsen us significantly when we go to the second the second person behind them is massive. And even the ones who we do see as kind of a big drop off or have historically seen that, Nuno, Cedric, Holding, those guys have not been that big of a downgrade. And so I back that this squad, even as short as we are in numbers, I back that this squad is going to be able to get it done.
Well, I think I think after we called the squad in January, I mean, what happened is, like, some of these guys, like, finding their redemption arc and stuff like that. Okay, this team is this team. Arteta's like, I have my team. This is the team. Like, this is how we're going to go forward. So, galvanizes guys. And then you have people like maligned folks like Cedrics and the Pepes and the Holdings, coming in, realizing, okay, well, we kind of don't want this to fall on us, so they're coming in and slowly but surely raising their game. At least that's what I'm observing. That's what I think is happening at this.
Well, and we're showing that okay, who's gonna leave from? We have 18 outfield players, 18 or 19 outfield players on our squad right now. Who is not going to be here next season? Probably Nketiah. Probably Lacazette. Anyone else leaving on a free or leaving? I mean, I won't believe it until I see it that Xhaka is leaving. I know Roma's sniffing around, but I'm not going to believe it. So, are we losing?
Xhaka seems like the Ainsley Maitland-Niles saga, like every year, in terms of, okay, is he going to go? Is he not going to go? Are we going to go on loan, or is he going to go to Roma or not? So hard to tell with him. But I mean, Nketiah will be gone. I'm sure. Ryan brings up a good point. Leno's definitely gone because
Leno will be gone.
We signed Matt Turner, so I mean, that's
Turner will take Leno. Turner will take Leno's spot. Saliba will essentially come in as a fourth center back. In my opinion, I think that he's going to come back. El Neni will probably go, and the two strikers. But no one that is going to break my heart, other than from an emotional standpoint, Lacazette is leaving the squad. We're getting one back from loan that I think that we can count on coming back. I don't think Mainsley's going to come back from loan. I think he'll either be sold or loaned again. And then we always say this, all we really need to do is get a very good striker or a couple of strikers who know how to put the ball in the net, and a couple of improvements from. I mean, I'm excited. Get excited, he said. I'm excited, and I more than that, I just enjoy. I enjoy liking this team. I don't need to win everything all the time. I want to win everything all the time. I don't need to love this team. I just want to feel happy about them more often than I don't. And that's what we've been getting. I mean, December was great. January was shit. And February turned out to be great again. I mean, what have you done for me lately? And the answer is a damn good job. So,
yeah, I agree. And you don't need us to win. What kind of Gooner are you?
I settle for mediocrity. I accept failure. I'm toxically positive, and I'm a fat Jew. Those are the things that are often said about me. So,
look, the bottom line is, if the vibes are good, at the Emirates and North London and stuff like that, and Gooners around the world, then I frankly don't care if we 1-0 to the Arsenal like every match. I mean, I'm one of those. I mean, like today, we won ugly. Okay, we won ugly. There's no other way to put it. We won ugly, but we managed to pry it from a team that was like not letting go of it.
I see, Rob. I don't think that we won ugly today. We won late and we won barely, but winning ugly is like like the Chelsea game last year, where you couldn't look at that game objectively and think that we should have won, but we won.
Well,
anyway.
I guess let me clarify. I mean, I think it took a lot. It took a lot for us to break them down. Like I said, and other teams in the league have had similar difficulties with Wolves. I mean, I think there were like 2 other teams that had. Oh God, I forgot the stat.
Wolves aren't in. I think they're in 7th or something now. But I mean, they're not in the top 4 or 5 chase for no good reason. I mean, they
don't give anything away very easily.
I mean, they have talented players, and this is after. Who did Jota play for last year? Was it Wolves? Diogo Jota, when Liverpool. Well, he played for Liverpool last year, but before, I mean, who did they sign him from?
I think maybe
It's ridiculous that I don't know
this. Folly transfer markets, but I think it was Wolves. But
I'm just saying that they're doing it. However they get their players. I know they're all Portuguese, from that one super agent, but they're a good team. They have good players. They should be where they are, and so beating them and coming back against them, and I mean it's a fantastic win. And again, they did the double on us last year, although one of those games was a complete farce.
Yeah,
but they did the double on us, so I'm happy to do the double back on them. And we need to
do the double on them. And also, they want to complain about celebrating. Well, I guess let me do it the proper way. Let me give a toast to the gentlemen of the Arsenal. Pray charge your glasses.
Here's my bottled water, which is all I'm allowed to have these days.
That our cunning continues. Here.
And because you and I had this discussion amongst others earlier today, we do have to remember this.
Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Everywhere they go.
Oh, gee, how could I forget? Why would I want to forget that? I mean, that's.
I don't know. We're apparently not allowed to celebrate when Tottenham loses anymore because we're supposed to be Arsenal fans.
I'll take that on a case by case basis. Thank you.
There we go. Very good. All right. Well, speaking of case by case basis, I think we're done with this case of celebrating Arsenal. I gotta go have some dinner, which will probably be like a little piece of chicken and a bunch of vegetables. But in any case,
case of something.
I will. We got Michael here. Okay, I was about to end the show, but we have one more person to go, and they had their camera off. So we're gonna have a real quick hit for a final one. But Rob, good to see you. I hope to see you soon, my friend.
Yes, sir.
I will be in DC a handful over the next couple of weeks. So I'll hit you up, and take care, my man.
Same to you. Be in touch, man.
All right, take care. Michael, you're here. Oh, the car is moving.
I am.
All right, hold on. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. You got to pull over, my friend.
Okay.
Where are you? Where are you now?
I'm on the freeway, but I'm gonna pull over in like 30 seconds.
Okay. Freeway of what? Where? What
Houston.
city?
I'm in Houston.
Houston. That's right. Okay. Well, while you're pulling over, I'm gonna play this for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Please go to goonersvcancer.com and donate because we got to give this away soon.
Good ball by Gibson. Thomas charging to the midfield. Thomas! It's up for grabs now! Thomas! Right at the end!
All right. Michael is stationary. Now, is this going to be an episode of Fake Taxi?
I hope not.
Okay, buddy. So, are you driving home from the pub or from work? Where are we?
I wish. I'm actually just out running some errands real quick, but yeah.
Man, well, thank you for joining us. You're our final open micer of the evening, and and the microphone is yours. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about what a great day it's been. It's been a very great day. It's been
Were the birds chirping this morning when you woke up? Was the
I mean, I didn't really hear the
flowers
birds.
smelling wonderful?
It was just too cold for me to even,
You're in Houston, man. It can't be that cold.
It got cold today. And it was a little windy. Hence the, but yeah, it's been very good to see, my kinsmen coming on here and having, positive vibes, which is what we want, right? We want the positive vibes. We want to always be happy, when, we have results like this come our way. But the one thing that still, can be said about us is we also always have to have the doctor present when we're watching the game, because it's always a roller coaster, and we always go through the motions of, are we gonna score? Aren't we gonna score? But at the end of the day, it was positive, and that's what I'm gonna stick by today.
Yeah,
It was a good game.
My wife was none too pleased with me in the first half, because she was trying to talk to me about, we have a event we're going to tomorrow. We're going to be staying in a hotel. Oh, Rob, we're going to be staying in the Lion Hotel, by the way, tomorrow and Saturday night. He'll know what that refers to, for an event with a client of ours, and so we got to pack. And she's asking me all these questions, and we literally just gone down 1-0.
Right.
I mean, I know this might be hard to believe, but I could be a dick sometimes. and those are the times when I'm normally, I don't want to talk about the weather over the next couple of days and whether I'm going to want to walk outside or not. I'm sorry. Gabrielle just screwed up, and I'm angry right now. But then she was also that she went out and ran some errands. I'm sure when she was running errands, she, was on a couple podcasts from her car. And then she came back about the 73rd minute or so and saw a very different husband. And it's almost embarrassing because I don't want her to think that like I only react to, like if Arsenal, it's the life that we live. Look, my mood for those 2 hours and possibly a few hours afterward is going to be affected by how.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lifestyle now. If when we say we're a Gooner, we're like, yeah, it's for life, and it's a lifestyle. We formally live, breathe Arsenal. Whenever they're playing, if it's for hour 30 minutes, if it's for 2 hours, we turn into this like monsters that feed off of the energy that the team gives us, and it's a good thing because that keeps the energy going, the blood pumping, everything. But at the end of the day, what we want to see is our team do well. Our team climb up the table. We start challenging for honors, even though we're not doing that at the moment. But still, it was a good day.
I'm trying to look for a picture that I took the first time I was in the Armory gift shop at the Emirates, because there is a mural on the wall in the section of the gift shop where the players' names get printed on the kits.
Yeah,
it's something like my wife made me choose between Arsenal and her, and I wish her good luck, or so. It's something like like that.
That day was cool. Yeah,
I got to go back, and I think it was March 2. I'm going to look at my phone, but so did we get your man? No, we started with the man of the match with Rob. So who was your man of the match today, and why?
Based off of overall contribution, I'll probably say Lacazette, because he walked his socks off throughout the entire duration of the 90 minutes. Props to him for getting the goal, even though he wasn't given the goal, but he got the goal. He worked his socks off. He always has this synergy with the young boys, He brings the team together. Never for once did his head drop today. He kept the crowd in it. He had them going. I mean, there was a lot of good people in there. Ben White has been very constant. No, no foot wrong. Odegaard was superb. But just for that, captainship burden that was placed on Lacazette, I would go with Lacazette today.
Yeah, I mean, I was fascinated because I love a good controversy. I was fascinated to see, when Lacazette came out of the game, when he was inevitably subbed out of the game, which he didn't turn out to be.
Right.
But, what was going to happen with that armband? And because Xhaka was in the game and so was Tierney, what was going to happen? And it just was kind of a relief that he didn't get subbed out for multiple reasons. I mean, this is the second time, by the way, this season that Lacazette has pulled a result. One was a draw against Palace, and the other was today, where he's pulled out a result in injury time. And the first time he did it, I was in the stadium and took my shirt off, which nobody should ever do if they look like me. The second time, I went absolutely nuts today, man. I mean, again, it's been said, it was like the Leicester game for me.
Yeah.
It just felt like that same kind of energy. And I just, I was perusing all of the live Blair Witch kind of videos where you can't even see what's going on. And I think I have a couple more I can play in here before we go, but just some of the stuff that was posted on Twitter after the game with people enjoying the moments that had happened. That face there, by the way, is John at Dr. Jazz 72, who I want to give a shout out for two things. One is for being a good friend. We talk a lot about various things, sometimes not even Arsenal on WhatsApp. He's one of our earliest podcast listeners and a great guy. I met him at the Tollington once, and secondly, because 2 days ago, he approached me and said, I've got a ticket. I'm not looking for anything for it. It's in the North Bank. I want to give it away to somebody, and you guys can help us do that, I hope. And we ended up giving that ticket away in exchange for a donation to Gooners versus Cancer. So instead of simply just giving his ticket away, we were able to get a ticket to somebody for the equivalent of £18, which was a bargain, and looks even better now, having had that experience in the North Bank where the winning goals were scored. And it also helped with Gooners versus Cancer. So thank you to John, and thanks for sharing that video with us. I really appreciate it. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I just want to say that I hope we can keep the momentum going. I know we have a very good stretch of rest now, which is like 10 days. Thereabouts, where we get to go to Dubai. I hope stretch our legs again in the sun before we come back out to play. I mean,
we should go to Dubai every Monday, I think. And
right?
Except for the one where we have a game against Palace, but I mean, in general, Dubai seems to help everyone except for William. So,
yeah, I know that's right. So, I hope we, keep doing this, because it seems to help everybody's blood pressure when Arsenal's winning. So, let's keep this momentum going. We've got a good stretch of games coming up. Watford, Liverpool, which I know we can beat, and Leicester amongst them as well. So hopefully we, do all of that, and Champions League football next season.
You know what?
So looking forward.
I'll take it, man. I just want to be playing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and not because
I know against Aubameyang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. I appreciate it. Please, remember to go to GoonersVCancer.com. We are selling 500 tickets for that 89 shirt. We've got about 150 to 200 somewhere in there that have already been claimed, and we're going to keep going until we get to 500, and then we'll draw for it. So please remember to do that. And going to sign off. Thanks again, Michael. Thanks to everybody else that joined us, Rob, Tannor, Daniel, Aston, of course, from the red light district. Who else came on with us? We had Colin, and I know I'm forgetting one. So my apologies for who I'm forgetting, but enjoy, and hopefully next week we will see both an Arsenal win and this.
Tottenham get better everywhere they go. Tottenham get better.